Hello, my name is Evangelist James Stell, and I'm coming to you with anger management. Talking about anger, and I want to make this series for you. Lord put it on my heart to make this series because it could help some people out. Uh, tell you a little bit about myself before I even get started. I want to welcome you. This is the first session of anger management, and we're going to talk about managing anger. And some of the things that will let you know about me is I was a troublemaker back in the game, got into a lot of trouble. Uh, Cost me a lot of my relationships, uh, cost a lot of friendships, it even cost me a lot of my life, anger did. But now that I sought my higher power, which is Jesus Christ, helped me get my life together, I'm sure it could help you get yours together. Pretty simple tools. But the thing is that do you want to change and change what anger and the outcome and the effects that anger had before you took out on you? Are you allowed to take out on you? So yes, I got in trouble with the law. I done 7 years in the penitentiary on an 8-year sentence that could have been reduced, and all of that was the effects of anger, seed of anger. Being angry and not having it directed in a positive direction. That's why on the shirt I got on here, you mad, bro? Or you can put you mad, sis. And I got a question mark at the end to try to let you know that what are you mad at? Because for years I went around thinking that just to be mad was the way to be. Being angry was the way to be. You know, it just, everybody that I was raised around was angry. I came out of an angry household. A lot of rage, a lot of wrath, and a lot of strife there. So guess what? I took that seed and ran with it and planted a lot of corruptible seeds. And figured out later on that when my life got turned over in the prison, I had to realize that there was a cost to this anger. And anger cost me a lot of things. Cost me my freedom. Cost me my relationship. It cost me a marriage. It cost me a lot of real good friends as well. But the thing about that is that even though it costs a lot of that stuff, you can get your life back together. Anger does not have to be a part of your identity and be a point of losing things and loss anymore. But you got to count the cost first. And when I say count the cost, is that it costs. Anger costs. The definition of cost is this here. It's the price of something, the amount of money that is needed to pay for or buy something. Something that is lost, damaged, or given up in order to achieve or get something. I like the end part of that, but let me repeat the whole definition again. Cost is the price of something, the amount of money that is needed to pay for or buy something. Something that is lost, damaged, or given up in order to achieve or get something. You know, when I was teaching this in anger management classes at a facility, I used to tell them that there's a difference from the word cost and costing. And which one do you think an individual that's trying to change his life would help out? It would help out if he was in the middle of costing or cost. What do you think? If you say costing, you're wrong. Because costing has an ing at the end of it, and that means that individual is still in the middle of paying a cost. He's still costing. Cost is a past tense word. Cost is past tense. So guess what? I'm using a lot of my past tense stuff and bringing it into the now and it's steady costing me. So to cost is the best position to be at when you're trying to eliminate wrath, eliminate rage, which is uncontrolled violent anger. When you're trying to direct your anger, the definition of anger is a power waiting to be directed. When you're ready to do that and you at a cost, that means you have placed that individual stuff in the past and you are ready to move on and move forward. And as I talking about in the second session, it talks about how to do that, and a lot of it has to do with a higher power. My higher power is Jesus Christ. He helped me get over a lot of my anger. I paroled out of jail, out of prison, hadn't been there in 12, 13 years because of me dissecting myself and letting myself know that I do not have to be an angry man. Yeah, it cost. I was in the middle of costing, but now I'm at a cost now, and because I'm at cost, I can show you some tools on how to leave the past and the cost in the past. And not to say that it's not going to rise back on you, but you have to remind yourself that you know what, you're a new creature, you're a new being. Your insides are being reborn. You're throwing out the old knowledge that was placed upon you from self-preservation of circumstances, situations, and events that led you up to having a bad core belief system to keep those things harbored inside of you. So you have to, and this is a personal thing, and don't let anybody judge you because everybody's process is not the same. Long as we get to the point of cost. What is anger? God has uncontrolled anger, violent anger cost you. Cost me hurting a lot of family members. It cost me hurting a lot of people that was in my past. I mean, that was friends of mine, not friends no more. Cost. What does it cost you? Has it cost you family? Has it cost you money? Has it cost you jobs? Has it cost you freedom? Has it cost you a peace of mind? What has it cost you? Because there is a cost to carrying and harboring resentment and anger. There is a cost there. It might not seem like it is, but it is a cost right there. You might not even hit to the point to look back on it yet. Maybe you're a person maybe you're an individual that like being angry, and it make you feel like you're in control, and you're not ready to want to change, and don't have to look back on what anger has costed you yet. But as long as you live, and there will come a time, and some of us we've allowed that to happen so long that we don't even know that we're in the middle of losing. We think we're winning. So it costs. And guess what? Guess what? This is my after doing all that 7 years in prison, this was the only thing they gave me out of all that. You see that there? It said that all I got was this little paper with no decorations around it from the Texas Department of Corrections in Huntsville, Texas. All I got is this saying that my parole date, the date I was released on parole, the date I went down there, my charge, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. All of this is on there, and that's all I got. For all those years I spent of seeing people getting beat up, beat down, shanked. Some lost their lives in there. All that I saw in there, this is my reward right here. A little white piece of probably 8x5 paper saying that my time is done. I think some of y'all need to look at this. You might not read it all the way, but it says Texas Department of Corrections, Huntsville, Texas. Because if you don't get your life together, I don't know what your prison system is or what state that you live in. You could be the next one. And guess what? You have to be able to make parole and clear your time in order to get this. Because there are some people with double digits that got 50 and 60 and 70 years and will never get one of these because they'll die before they clear their parole. I was blessed to the point to where I could get this right here. A parole officer don't have to see me at my grave site. This is done. This is part of my death certificate is what I claim. My death certificate meaning is my attitudes, my structure, my belief that led me to this point. This is my signed signature death certificate, what I think of me closing that gap and not being able to go back there. Because why? That old man is dead. It's a new man that's rising. So guess what? Messing with anger, messing with wrath, and messing with rage is gambling, is a big gamble. I've known a lot of people. Guess what? I even have when I got out of prison, I kept a piece of my certificate right here. It was to a church that I preached at, and it's tore up, it's ripped. But I want to show this to you and add this in there because it's very important. See, the reason I wanted to keep it was because there was certain people's names that was on here. This was my certification to my license to preach and spread the word. But at the bottom of it, there are 2 names on there. My name is here because it's to me, and this name on this side is the pastor's name, and over here was the clerk at that time's name. Now, the clerk at that time's name we were going to the same church, and he signed over that, it had to be signed by the clerk and the secretary and the pastor. Now, after I got this, some years later after I got this certificate and I was steady preaching, I got some news from my mom, and she had told me that the guy that was a clerk at the church went into a rage. A very quiet, docile individual went into a rage, and he killed his wife, his kid, and himself. And this is the last signature of this individual that I have. This is his signature on here. And that was his gamble with rage and jealousy and anger, not being directed in a positive way. This was his result out of it, was a death sentence to his family members and to himself eventually. So I want to share that with you. So do you think, I know I have a whole lot of cost of what anger can do to you and what it has done. And I don't want you, I'm putting this out because I don't want you to have to go through those choices. Okay, you might have been raised up a single dad. Daddy was never at home. Might have been battered and beat up and abused by mom. Might have been called every name in the book verbally. Stupid so-and-so, blank to blank, blank to blank. And I wish you were never born. And that's wishing. And maybe they hadn't said it, but through their actions, you may feel like that you wish you was never born on the cool. And your identity got all mixed up in turmoil. That was then. This is now. You can't take last year's events into the future with you, not for it to destroy you and make decisions upon it. Yeah, they're going to hit you at times, but you have to come to a point to taking responsibility and saying, hey, you know what? I know what had happened, but I'm making this a new happening. Because why? I'm learning the cost. That this cost of anger is crazy. It's cost. You think about some times when you was in anger. Think about times when you were in an angry situation. Think about how you got into a rage with folks. Think about the victims that happened to. The cost of the details. Cost of anger. It costs bail. It costs lawyers. It costs fines. It costs fees. Costs court costs that could be avoided. It costs hospital bills. It costs restitution. It costs a lot of stuff that you didn't even have to pay. That money could have went toward something that was very that could have benefited you at a point. But we choose to go off and go off and go off, and guess what? Our money been spent on things that could have been, if it was handled in the right way, handled in the right way. The Bible says, be angry and sin not. So that tells me I have a right to be angry at some things. Even God himself was angry at the way man acted throughout the Bible scriptures. But guess what? He sinned not. And so he said we don't have to go into sin and start hurting and want to get physical with anybody, with everybody. And one way I have to learn how to do that is there's two ways that what gets a person mixed up in this area is this here. Is that there's a way to handle a situation. You can handle a trying situation either aggressively or assertively. Now, those of us that have those kind of anger problems where we want to hurt somebody and not be directed in a positive way, we'll mess around and want to put our hands around somebody, and that's what's called aggressively. Aggressively is physically or verbally aggressive. There's no soundness that come out of it. There's no ending of a soundness that come out of it. All I want to do is get my point across in a negative way. Even if it takes a negative way, that is what it's going to take. So you ask yourself, what, you mad, bro? You mad, sister? What are you really mad at? The situation you mad at now probably ain't the thing you really mad at. That's probably just icing on the whole cake that's been inside of you boiling and cooking for all them years. And then guess what? You come across another situation look just like what you've been in. You might not even see it, but your insides and your senses can tell it right off the bat. And guess what? It's been so much of a part of your belief system, it tells you and directs you. And you have to catch up to it. Whoa, wait a minute. So that's what it was. That's what's going on. And you have to catch up to your senses. Because your senses have governed you and your mindset have governed you that long that you're being led. And some of it, the majority is by negative feelings. And some of it is by alcohol. And some of it is by drugs. I love mineral water. It's awesome. And yes, I am sober. I have not touched a drink of alcohol or done a drug. Put it in my mouth. My sobriety date is June 17, 1994. This coming year will be 21 years sober. 21 years of anger free. Anger taking over my life free. I am free. Who the Son has set free, therefore, is free indeed. And guess what? I got to, even though I am free, I have to fight every day to be able to stay free, because I believe that my freedom from all those emotions, mixed up emotions and stuff and baggage from the past is worth it. Even if it don't put a stripe on my back, even if I say, well, what's the use? I'm getting tired of doing this. I have to find some kind of fight to stay there. So now, that is mine. I had paid a heavy cost, but I've turned it around. And guess what? You can too. And during this series, there's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. This is just the intro of it. The second part of the series segment is going to be 5 steps that forgiveness will have to encounter. The third segment will be 6 bad core beliefs, and give you the definition of a bad core belief and a belief. And number 4 will be 4 steps to healing repressed anger. And then number 5 segment series of the series will be the effects of jealousy and how it affects us, and how it can negatively affect us and blind us. Jealousy, which is a great thing to talk about, especially with us men, because we don't think that we should be that way. But I have to explain. We want to break this down to you, how it was given to me, that jealousy is something that still needs to be confronted and not let run all over you, because you lose things through jealousy that's not even meant to be lost. And number 6 is 6 ways to deal with painful feelings. That's segment 6. So I hope that you just sit back and enjoy the whole series, because I can guarantee you that there's a lot that you're going to be able to learn through here, and be able to learn about yourself, even question yourself. And then if you feel like that it touched you and it bless you, send this link or get somebody else on here. It's free. I've taught it in many anger management classes, and I was told that, man, I need to go ahead and do this, because there's a lot of people that's going through what you've been through, and plus the presentation of how I presented, how I've been given from my Heavenly Father to present it, is one that will get your attention and let you examine yourself, to let you know that you don't have to pay the cost of violent, uncontrolled anger anymore. Now, that's not meaning that it's not going to come your way, but it is saying that that's where the management come in, getting ready to learn yourself, learn your weaknesses, learn your flaws, learn your strengths, and work on them to be a better you. So I talked about aggressively. That's how we do things. Aggressively is the way that I personally handle things, was aggressively. To the extreme, from one end to the other, from 0 to 100. No understanding, no talking about it, no reasoning, me being judgmental, which is a bad core belief that we talk about later on in the series. And that is bad. There's nothing good about that. Aggressively. And if you're hanging around people that like for you to be aggressive, 9 times out of 10, you need to change up your situation and change other people that you hang around that like that aggressiveness. Because guess what? You become a character and a clown to them, and all they want, they hanging around you just to look at you, ready for you to go off, so they can have something to put on their phone, have something that you be the class clown act, and that's all they are. They're not real friends, because real friends are going to tell you do not have to get that angry. They're going to tell you can steer away from that lifestyle. Those are real friends. Time to get the fake friends up out of there, my brother, my sister. It's time for you to get some real people in your life, some people that's going to hold you accountable. Some of them that's going to step on your toes. You came out the womb hollering because it was uncomfortable. You went into an uncomfortable setting from your mama's womb. And guess what? That's a sign to show you there's going to be a lot of you coming into a world of uncomfortableness. So it's not going to be peaches and roses and comfortableness at all times. There are going to be some uncomfortable situations in this world that you're going to have to confront, face, and man up and woman up. Because ain't you tired of flopping from one relationship to the next one? You can't keep a man because you're angry all the time. You can't get along with your family members because you angry at them, they angry at you. Can't even talk right. Can't even keep somebody because we're mad at the world. It's time to cease that war that's going, that Charlie's war in the head. It's time to cease it. So let's talk about assertiveness. That's the way you should come to somebody, is assertively. The difference from assertive is you're drawing the line. You're setting up a standard. You're not crossing the line of being aggressive, but you are getting your point across that, hey, guess what? I am an individual. I am a human. I do not like that. I do not like the way you talk to me that way. It gets me angry. I do not like the way that you address me like that. You have a right to share your feelings the way you want to share them. So the thing about that is you have to do it assertively. Assertively sets a standard right there to tell the other individual, but that guess what? I'm not out of control. I do care about what's presented before me. I care about myself. That's the reason I put it like that. This is my standard. And guess what? You're not going to pull me over that standard that way that I don't need to go down. And I'm not going to pull you back over this way because guess what? That's my standard. So assertiveness is great. And we're going to talk about that some more later on in the series. To being assertive. So assertive, and let me tell you something about assertiveness. You have to address. It's not up to them to address. They might not know nothing about you. They might not know nothing about this method of change that you want to do to change that. But you have to be the one to address it. And not only address it, you're going to have to be the one to stick with it. Because they're going to be looking for an excuse and a reason for you to fall off and say, oh, man, I know you was playing. I know you was. I know I pat you on the back because you was trying. But, Doc, I know you. I know how you can get. So be assertive. And they should be able to respect your assertiveness as being assertive. When it gets to being aggressive, that's when your insides will start to talk to you in a very negative way, and it turns out into a negative result. So assertiveness is very important when dealing with anger. Assertiveness gets to a point where you do not have to repeat yourself over and over and over again. Time out being assertive. Being aggressive. It is time to be assertive. So yes, that's what we're talking about, is the cost of anger today. And what has it cost you? And are you that's listening to this video right now, are you at what I said earlier? Are you at a point of it cost, past tense, or costing? ING means present tense. Is it still costing you? Is it still costing you, and you're at a point where you want to get into the point of past tense and cost? Because that's the best place to start. And even if you can't feel it right now, and even if you can't understand it right now, you still have to understand by faith that you can see yourself coming out of it. See yourself from other people controlling you, controlling your mind, controlling your thoughts, your past controlling your future. You have to see yourself there, because guess what? If you don't see it, nobody else is obligated to see it for you. And even if they saw it for you, they can't make you. They can't make you see the potential of what you got in you. They can encourage you in it. They can push you toward it. They can love you into it. But they can't make you be there. Only you can. So, this is the first session of anger management. And it's the first segment. And this is called the cost of anger. It's really an introduction session. But there's a lot of meat if you hang in there and hold on in there. So let me tell you something. Sit back, enjoy the ride, because you're going to have a ride of your life. And I believe with me doing this, after you going through this series, I believe that it's going to change your life forever. Just like it has mine. I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it would benefit you. I wouldn't be wasting your time and wasting mine. But the thing about this anger management session, and I'm fixing to close this right now, is that you have to come to a point of honesty. Rock gut honesty with yourself. And that's the goals of Pool right here also. Since I said self, a lot of people have been so tied up in anger and been tied up in so many habits and addictions that they don't even know nothing about themselves. They've been labeled what a lot of people have been labeled and telling them all their life. And then you have to even be honest about that. Because I can guarantee you, if you're trying to use it, you're trying to change, and you're trying to get away from that anger, that uncontrolled violent anger, and you're trying to direct it in a positive way, I can guarantee you this here. You already know it's something inside of you that need to change. And we're going to get you there. So, take care. Be blessed until the next session. Pray. And don't be scared. Perfect love casts out fear. And I'm sure that after this series, a big chunk of it, or if not all of it, is going to be knocked out of there. All right? Have fun. Take care of yourself, and bless you. Blessings to you.